If you're living abroad and are interested in working in the UK but not quite sure how, well, stay tuned. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to The Gist with me, Michelle. Today we are going to be looking at how to find jobs in the UK if you don't live in the UK. So in my last video, I talked about the new points-based system for people to get work visas, and I've had a lot of questions.
How do I find a job? I don't live in the UK. I'm interested in working in the UK, but I don't know what to do. So
there are 5 steps that you can take to streamline your options and to give you the best chances of getting. So the very first thing I would suggest is you should have a look at whether your profession is currently listed on the National Shortage of Occupations list. So if you remember in the points-based system video, I explained that this carries points. So if you work in an area where in the UK there is a shortage in that occupation, you might be able to use that as a tradable point to come to the UK. If you have a look on this list and your occupation is listed, then that would help you to streamline the sort of employers that you can approach or you can contact in terms of getting a job. So what I will do is a quick demonstration to show you how to find the list and how to search for your occupation or for your profession on the list. So when you open up your search engine, type in National Shortage Occupation List. That would bring you to gov.uk pages. Gov.uk is the government website. We want to go to the one that says Review of the Shortage Occupation List 2020. This brings you to a page that looks like this. And this is what we want. It's a PDF document, and as you can see, it says it has 647 pages. Now, it's going to take a long time for anyone to sit there and literally review every single page. So to find what you are looking for, you would need to utilize the search function. So if you press Control and F, you can type in, for example, engineering, if that's your profession, and it will tell you how many references are made in the document to engineering. So we can see there are 49 references, and you can tab down, so you can go down to see where it mentions engineering. So we can see here engineering technicians they're looking for, and that's the SOC code. And then you can tab down to see the other references. So they need building and civil engineering technicians. That's the SOC code. So you can keep going like that until you exhaust all of the references. Now we can look for, say, marketing as an example. So it tells us in this document there are 10 references to marketing, and that's the SOC code. So once again, you can tab up or down to look at every reference to marketing. So there we go again. So it's as simple as that, guys. So obviously, guys, I know not everybody is going to have a profession that's going to be on this list. So when a company is recruiting, they tend to post a job in multiple places. They put them on websites, they give them to recruitment agencies. They obviously want to get the most exposure for the job so they can get the best applicant. So the first thing I would say is if you know a company that you actually want to work for, look on their website to actually see if they've got any career opportunities at the moment. So this is you going directly to the employer and checking whether they have any vacancies. So I know this isn't always possible, but I would say that's the most obvious thing to do in the first instance. So the next way to find jobs in the UK would be to have a look on job seeking websites. So there are actually websites that are dedicated to finding jobs in them. So off the top of my head, I can think of Indeed.co.uk, I can think of Reed.co.uk, CV Library, Monster.co.uk. So most of the time when companies are trying to recruit, they pass it onto a recruitment agency to help them to find somebody who will fill the position, and then the recruitment agency often posts the jobs on these websites. So that's why it's good to sign up to a few of these websites, because there are often recruitment agencies who are then working on behalf of the companies. So what I'm going to do is just another quick demonstration of one of the sites, how you search for a job on there, how you set your location, how you set what you want your salary to be, and also how you apply.
Say you want to look for a job on indeed.co.uk. It's very straightforward. So you can upload your CV, you can register with them, you can type in here the type of job that you're looking for, you can put in your location. It's got these helpful tabs here where you can say, for example, how far from your location you want to work. You can put in a salary estimate. It's got this slide so you can actually slide it up and down. Job category looks at the different types of jobs there are at the moment. So you can type that there, or you can use this function. So it's very intuitive. If you don't put anything in, it tells you what jobs are currently available at the moment in different locations. So at the moment it's searching for jobs in Birmingham, but of course you can change that. If I look for an engineering job, so I type in engineer and we want to be in Birmingham, let's find jobs. And then it just brings different things up. So you click on the job that you're interested in. It tells you who the employer is. So we can see that this is working for Network Rail. This is how much they're paying. It tells you the location is Birmingham, and it gives you some information about the job, so a description, and then you apply for the job on the company website. It's that simple.
So guys, these are the ways that I would suggest if you were living abroad and you wanted to work in the UK, this is how you can look for a job whilst you're not in the country. Now, let's just assume you've actually found the job that's caught your eye and you think, yep, I can do this job. I have all the skills that are required for this job. The job description looks like something that I can do. What's next? So basically, tracking back to the previous video, if you haven't watched it, by the way, guys, I think it's a good idea because it explains the basis for everything that I'm talking about. To come into the UK, you have to get 70 points. 50 of those are mandatory and 20 are tradable. Now, to come to the UK, 20 points is for you to get a job offer by a licensed sponsor. So there is no point in finding a job, but it's by somebody who is not a licensed sponsor. So once again, guys, just a quick demo for you, how to find a list of approved sponsors and also how to check whether the company you're scoping or thinking of working for are on this list.
To check if an employer is registered to sponsor a worker, you simply type in register of licensed sponsors. You make sure you go to the gov.uk site, which looks like this, and you want this document, which says register of worker and temporary worker licensed sponsors. It's a PDF document. There are 2,322 pages. So that's a lot of pages. If you know who you want to work for, once again, Control F. And so I will go with the example of Network Rail for the job that we saw earlier on. And as we can see, their Network Rail infrastructure features on there.
Okay, so let's just assume we have found a job we want to apply for. We have checked and they are on the list of approved sponsors. Now, what do? You apply for a job using your CV and a covering letter. So I was told that when I applied for my current job, there were 101 applications, and obviously I got the job. But why did I get the job? Because my CV and my covering letter stood out, as well as the fact that I obviously aced the interview. But the fact is, for me to even get to interview stage, there had to be something on my CV that made the recruiter think this person can do the job. So this is what we're going to cover next. So step number 4 is to make sure that your CV and your covering letter is updated to perfection. So how do I do that exactly, I hear you saying? So guys, the first tip with a CV and covering letter is you must read the job description. You have to obviously know if you can do the job. Do you have the skills that they're asking for? Do you have the experience they're asking for? Do you have the qualifications that they want? So it's important to read the job description and understand what it is saying. Pick out keywords out of the job description that you can then mirror in your CV and your covering letter. Why would you do that? Well, because once again, if I go back to the fact that recruiters get hundreds of applications at a time, I can assure you they do not sit there and read every single one of them in depth. What do? They will probably scan them looking for these keywords that they've put out in the job descriptions. And if they see on your CV that you've got those keywords, they might probably put you aside and say, let's shortlist this person. So another tip with your CV is do use buzzwords. Created, managed, solved, led, developed. So clearly from everything I've said, guys, your CV is obviously very important. You can go through the whole rigmarole of finding a job, finding one suitable, one that pays X amount, one that's a licensed sponsor, or whether you're on a shortage of occupation list. But if your CV and your covering letter is not worth the paper it's written on, frankly, then there is no point. Make sure you update your CV. You do not want to have any grammatical errors. You want to keep it as sharp and succinct as possible. So if you think this is something you would need help with, you could access a CV review service where obviously you would pay for somebody to look at your CV for you. So there are websites that you can get that done on. So there is Fiverr.com, or you could also have a look at peopleperhour.com. I'll put the links in the description below. Make sure you check out the reviews first before you actually pay for anybody to do this. It's just a suggestion. If you don't want to pay for somebody to do it, then I would suggest just get a friend or a family member who is quite good at CVs, who has worked, in Britain and understands the British system and what CV templates should look like and stuff like that. So the final step, or the final thing I think you should do, but this is more for when you get an interview, would be to actually get familiar with what interviews in the UK are like. So it's not unusual to have a case study. So I had to do this at my interview. I was given a case study and I was timed. It was like sitting in an exam. It was a really hot room. I wasn't sure if they did it on purpose actually, just to see if I worked well under pressure. So basically you might have to do a case study to just check what your experience is, to check what your judgment is, how do you deal under pressure. The other thing that tends to happen in interviews is they tend to ask a lot of competency-based questions. So this in itself, there is an art to this in itself. Because they ask you questions like this, tends to be the first question they ask. They ask you things like, tell me about yourself. It's not even a question. How do you even answer that? Or what do you say to that? Guys, let me just tell you, this is not an opportunity for you to download your family's history. They don't care about where you came from and who your father is, okay? They want to know whether you're going to fit into their team. They want to know what sort of person you are. What interests do you have outside of work? But I really do hope that you now understand how to find a job, even though you're not living in the UK, what processes you need to go through, how to check the shortage of occupations list, how to check if an employer is licensed, how to actually check on websites for jobs. I really do hope you have got some value out of this, and I really do hope that you would be now armed to go out and look for jobs. I really do wish you the best success in your endeavors. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like the video if you liked it. Drop me a comment, have I missed anything? Or is there anything else you would like to know? I'll be quite happy to answer that. Subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on all the great information I'm going to be sharing in the next few weeks and months. And I will catch you next time on The Gist with me, Michelle.